And coming up next, the triple threat. George Thornberry, Nick Flaherty, Earvin Beavers. The company we all previously worked for, let me just say, this match, there is history in this match. George Thornberry coming out first. And as we know, Earvin Beavers and Nick Flaherty, former tag team partners, but Earvin declared his allegiance to Zach Jeffers and Jeff Santos and turned on Nick Flaherty, attacking him in his match with Jake, which set the wheels for this triple threat in motion. And Earvin, look at the attire Earvin is sporting, dressing to look like his buddy Zach Jeffers. That's dedication. And the match begins. George going after Flaherty. Big Hurricane Rana. George gonna right away show off some athleticism. Earvin sidestepping a drop kick from George. Irish whip reversed by Earvin. Scissor sweep takedown. I'm going to try and cover all this action as best I can. Nick Flaherty, you know he's going to have beef with Earvin. And look at this. And now George wrenching on the leg of Earvin. Now again, the first man to score a pinfall or submission here is the winner. So Flaherty, he allowed George to work on Earvin's leg there. But you don't want to let that happen too long, because if Earvin would have tapped out, George would have been declared the winner. But in the early stages of a match, oh man, Flaherty dropping everybody on his neck. In the early stages of a match, it can be wise to let your opponents wear each other down. Earvin now getting behind Flaherty, turning him around. Big Irish whip, reversed by Flaherty. Cartwheel from George, big drop kick from Flaherty. George again coming after Flaherty now. Big Irish whip. Look at George. Oh, caught by Earvin. Drop kick to Earvin. And look at George and Earvin both wailing on her. George and Flaherty, both wailing on Earvin. And like I said, I'm going to cover this action as best I can. Oh my God. Oh, a double pile driver to Earvin. He might have to play the patsy in this match. Flaherty is not going to let Earvin build any momentum. You know Flaherty is pissed at Earvin. Look at this. The underhook. Oh, knee to the gut. Big underhook suplex to Earvin Beavers. Earvin is still reeling from that pile driver. But here's George to come and attack Flaherty. Flaherty quickly counters and drop kicks George right to the mat. And now Earvin's going to throw some strikes. But Flaherty catches and really breaks the leg down. And look at Flaherty's saying, Earvin, I'm going to dispatch your ass very quickly. But George attacking Flaherty from behind. Flaherty going to counter and lock in a big armbar to George. Flaherty to his feet with aggression. He is not happy. And now George tying Flaherty up, throwing knees to the gut. Oh! And that is going to take the wind out of Flaherty, which allows Earvin to sweep in. Oh! Oh, and look at this! Oh, a double wishbone split! George recognizing, perhaps, that Flaherty was building too big a head of momentum, and now both guys are going to work together to take him down. Earvin, big chop to the face. And now George countering with that patented palm striking technique. Flaherty, fireman carry takedown to George. And now George again catches Flaherty. Irish whip. What are we going to see here? Flaherty breaks the momentum and instantly, again, attacks Earvin with these big chops. George with a drop kick. Right into the waiting arms of Flaherty. Big underhook suplex there. Follows it up with an elbow drop. George going up high. This could be dangerous. Oh, the coup de grace! Coup de grace to Earvin. Followed up immediately with a sleeper. But you see Flaherty breaking up that sleeper very wisely because he knows Earvin could have passed out, which would have handed George the victory. This is a very fast-paced triple threat, ladies and gentlemen. But again, this is not the first time these three guys have collided in a high-stakes triple threat match. That's all I'll say about that. The company we all previously worked for, this may or may not have main evented a major event. Oh, look at Flaherty! Flaherty had Earvin tied up. George very wisely breaking that cover. George wrestles his way behind Flaherty, lifts him up, big knee takedown. Oh, look at this. Earvin gets behind Flaherty. Flaherty counters, gets behind Earvin, and immediately locks in a big sleeper, but this time it's George who breaks it up very wisely. And now George and Earvin double suplex to Nick Flaherty. Oh, man. That's going to take the wind out of you. But George, not wasting any time, there's that shin breaker drop to Earvin. Flaherty drop kicks the shit out of Earvin. Pardon my language. And Earvin, look at Earvin to his feet. He is hurting. Oh my gosh. Again. Oh, again, the double pile driver. Good Lord Almighty. But Earvin to his feet with aggression, perhaps on pure instinct alone. And now George gets behind Flaherty. George is very wisely attacking his enemy's feet, softening them up for that patented ankle lock submission hold he utilizes. Flaherty, wow, what a big back suplex from Earvin to Flaherty. And Flaherty taunting his opponents. Earvin with a big dragon screw, or George with a dragon screw to Earvin, excuse me. Look at that right hand. But Flaherty was ready. Flaherty now ties George up, knee to the gut, underhook suplex. But George with a kick to the... Oh! George kicks Earvin in the face, and Earvin is busted open. And look at it. Again, the dragon screw. And now George is absolutely feeling it. He gets behind Flaherty. Look at a quick German suplex to Flaherty. You gotta believe George enters this match with something to prove. Big double pile driver after George took such a beating at the hands of Jesse Driver. And Earvin with a big climb up wheel kick to Nick Flaherty. Flaherty taunting Earvin, his former tag team partner. But again, Earvin and George teaming up, another double pile driver, and now turning their attentions towards each other while Flaherty is recovering. Oh, Earvin with a big chop to George. George goes for the leg sweep. Earvin withstands the blast. Oh, now Earvin and Flaherty both drop kicking George. George rolls Earvin up. The pin is broken up by Nick Flaherty. And there's George with a big palm strike to take Flaherty down. George going up high. What are we going to see? Oh, what a knee strike. And Earvin quickly trying to come in, take advantage. There's the big wheel kick to the back of the head. Flaherty now has George. He Irish whips George. Goes for the drop kick. George ducks under, rushes, and there's Earvin with a big scissor kick. And now he's caught George. George reverses, gets behind Earvin, turns him around. Irish whip, reversed by Earvin. There, what a big scissor kick by Earvin. Great athleticism and mat technique from both men. Earvin trips George up. And there's the double knee face breaker. That was a great sequence of events from both guys. What technical ability there. Oh, man. George just knocks Earvin right against the ropes. Went for the drop kick. Earvin dodges. Earvin Oh, man. Earvin struck right to the apron. But now Flaherty with a Northern Light suplex. The pin was broken up by Earvin. Earvin to the top. Oh, what a springboard leg drop. And you hear the crowd starting to chant, "This is awesome." These three guys got history, and they're proving it with a high-stakes, fast-paced, very impressive triple threat. George backdrops Earvin to the mat. Flaherty tries to steal the cover. George comes in and breaks it up. George lifting Flaherty to his feet. Oh, what a palm strike. Devastating maneuver there. Flaherty to his feet. Goes to put George in the corner. George able to counter and put Flaherty in the corner. But now Earvin takes advantage. Big rapid-fire chops to the back of the head of George Thornberry. And Earvin lifting George up for a German suplex there. And look at the Hurricane Rana, reversed by George. Unbelievable athleticism from these guys. What a sequence. And listen to the crowd chanting, "This is awesome." I gotta agree with them. This is a great match. Earvin holding George down for the German suplex. The cover is broken up by Flaherty, who immediately goes up top and lands a diving face punch to Earvin. And now George went for the attack on Earvin, but Flaherty comes after him. There's a big arm wrench elbow stomp, and Flaherty quickly throwing chops at Earvin, trying to have both men under control. There's that underhook suplex. Goes for the cover. George very wisely breaks it up. And now Earvin's got George. Huge falling back suplex. We're still recording, right? Yes, we are. This is some great action here. Earvin's got George. Big dragon screw. Flaherty abandoning his attempts to go up top. And now he's got Earvin wrestling him down with an armbar. Quickly broken up by George, who follows it up with a knee to the gut of Flaherty. And now they've got Flaherty. Oh, the double wishbone split. Oh my gosh, and again, a double suplex. This is very surprising. George and Earvin are both going after Flaherty, and George is going to dropkick Flaherty's legs, putting him on the apron. Flaherty is able to re-enter the ring without taking a hit, but now Flaherty's going to wrench the arm of George. And look at the athletic counter from George Thornberry, but Earvin right on him, swinging neck breaker. Earvin is now in prime position as Flaherty gets back to his feet, and Earvin's caught George, rolling him up. George counters. Oh, big stomp to the gut. And Flaherty with an elbow. George tries to hook the outside leg. The cover is broken up by Nick Flaherty. George to his feet with aggression. Earvin catches him. Huge back suplex there. Earvin and Flaherty both dealing strikes to George while he's down. Just because they're enemies now doesn't mean they can't work together. Oh, man. Goes for the cover on George. Earvin able to stop it and break it up. What are we going to see here? Earvin putting Flaherty into the corner, but George now catches him. Earvin with a big swinging neck breaker. And he goes for the cover. Flaherty interrupts the cover to save the match. And now George to his feet, but Flaherty's caught him. Big sleeper hold. Big sleeper. And there's Earvin to come in and stop it before George was able to fall asleep to it. Look at Flaherty with these big chops getting his vengeance. Earvin catches the leg. Flaherty with a step up enziguri. Earvin is dazed. Meanwhile, George, rapid fire knees to the gut of Flaherty. And Flaherty's going to try and roll George up with a backslide, but Earvin's going to break it up. And it's Earvin. You got to remember, it's Earvin who has beef with both of these guys. Earvin called George out for having a victory over his new buddy, Zach. Then he turned on Flaherty. George and Flaherty, their only bad blood here is because they both want the win in this match. But George catches him. More knees to the gut, broken up by Earvin, and there goes George, clean out of the ring. And this is a triple threat. There's no count out. There's no disqualifications. The only way to win is pinfall or submission. And Nick Flaherty's going to throw some power moves to the outside of the ring to George Thornberry. They're all going to get back in. George catches him. Oh, Flaherty sidestepping that dropkick and immediately locking in a leg lock that is broken up by Earvin Beavers now. George catches Earvin's leg, and there's that dragon screw. Cover, hook of the inside leg. Nick Flaherty breaks it up, and Nick Flaherty trying to wash his hands of all this. He's got George. Goes for the Irish whip to put him into the corner. Oh, what a right hand. He just decked Earvin right in the face. And now he puts Earvin into the corner, lifting him up. We've seen this before. The diving neck breaker. But George is going to try and catch him. Drop kick to the leg of Earvin. And again right to the leg of Earvin. And now it's when they start punishing Earvin. There's the German suplex. Be careful what you wish for, Earvin Beavers. A drop. Back at it. A double team to Earvin. George going to lock in the leg lock, but before Earvin has a chance to tap, Flaherty's going to break it up. Earvin tries to land that scissor kick, but Flaherty's got George. He's going to put George up high. Oh my God! Superplex! Superplex to George Thornberry. Earvin catches Flaherty. Flaherty counters. There's the armbar. George breaking it up. These guys are still going. Flaherty wrestles. Oh my good Lord. No way. No way. Oh, George couldn't jump far enough. Which is going to allow Earvin to roll Flaherty up. Oh, Flaherty gets the shoulder up. And now George catches Earvin. Oh, what a German suplex. Is that going to be it? Flaherty can't get there in time, and George does it! Wow! Flaherty was unable to get there in time. George caught him. A German suplex. And apparently it knocked Earvin clean out. And the cover. Let's see if we can get a better camera angle. You see Nick Flaherty, he tried to... here's a good camera angle. George, what a German suplex to Earvin. They tried to lift Earvin up for that Doomsday Device tag team maneuver. Earvin almost got a surprise win. I think when Nick Flaherty kicked out, he was dazed. And you see, he tries to break the pin up, but he can't get there in time. Look at that German suplex. Wow. And thanks to the quick maneuvering, just like the last time these three guys met in a triple threat match, George Thornberry is going to come out on top.